Once again, it's another East versus West scenario. Only this time the roles will be played by our Ladies Division stars, Dos Vidania of the Red Star Confederation, and the Yankee Rose, Miss Georgia Washington.
And here's the kicker. It's in Georgia Washington's hometown of Pittsburgh. She might hear a yay, or even see a red, white, and blue foam finger in the cheap seats.
That's terrible.
This next ladies' match is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Approaching the ring, representing the Red Star Confederation from the former Soviet Union, here is the KGB, Das Vitania.
Only in her case, the acronym has nothing to do with secret police. For her, KGB means kill a good body, and well, I suppose she does have one. Dos Vidania, one of the two ladies of the Red Star Confederation, the other being Colonel Nanotchka, who we haven't seen in a very long time. Yeah, I kind of miss her. Her and Dos Vidania used to do tag teams together. They were pretty good.
Okay. While you two gentlemen debate Das Vitania and her virtues, there's a big difference between our two opponents in this match. Das Vitania has been conditioned to be the way she is now, the little Spitfire. Georgia Washington was evil from birth.
And her opponent from right here, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, she is the Yankee Rose, Miss Georgia Washington.
You gotta admit, the crowd's giving out a different kind of vibe tonight to Georgia Washington.
She looks wild. Are you ready for the new sensation? We hear the shout of her around the world.
The Yankee Rose, Miss Georgia Washington, with a rare treat, receiving a warm welcome from a Pittsburgh crowd. How about this? Normally, she's second to Chlamydia in popularity. Yeah, but it's different tonight. She's got Dos Vidania for an opponent. And everybody hates Dos Vidania more than they hate Georgia Washington, so there you go.
It's a shame how popular and successful she could be, if it wasn't for that craptacular attitude of hers. She could be right up there with Pam Parsons, Brooklyn Von Braun, and Liberty Belle Danielle, if she would just get her mind right, which I don't see Miss Girl doing, cause she's a hot-ass mess.
A determined look on the face of Dos Vidania. As she gets ready to clash with the Yankee Rose, Willie Johnson rings the bell. She charges, fails to connect. Georgia Washington also fails to connect. Dos Vidania whips Georgia into the far corner. She rebounds out. They lock up. They tussle. Georgia shoves her away. Arm drag from Dos Vidania. Dos Vidania whipped to the opposite far corner. Counters with a kick. And a spear takes down Georgia Washington. Dos Vidania swings and misses with the kick. Georgia Washington nails her with a clothesline, and down she goes. Dos Vidania caught in a head scissors, but counters and escapes. Dos Vidania moves in on Georgia Washington. Georgia counters, slaps the hand away. Wow. Whipped back into the far corner again. Georgia drives a shoulder into the midsection. Dos Vidania counters with a wicked kick and takes her down. Georgia Washington rolls out, rolls back in. A little game of musical chairs here between the ropes. Georgia Washington spins her around, has her up into a backbreaker, and now stretching and cracking the spine of Dos Vidania. Georgia Washington drinking in a rare treat, some love from the fans. Dos Vidania counters, makes her way back inside the ring. Dos Vidania countered by Georgia Washington. Dos Vidania counters Georgia Washington. Fireman's carry from the Yankee Rose. He rounds up Dos Vidania. Has her up, beautiful suplex from the Yankee Rose. Georgia Washington rounds up Dos Vidania again. Has her up into that backbreaker one more time. Stretching and snapping the spinal column of Dos Vidania. Georgia Washington styling and profiling in a familiar style. And here we go. Georgia putting the boost to the chest of Dos Vidania. Dos Vidania gathered up here. Georgia Washington into a slightly modified abdominal stretch here, bringing the leg into the equation. And that is an agonizing hold Dos Vidania counters it with a hip toss, finds her way out, delivers a stomp or two to Georgia Washington. The Yankee Rose gathered to her feet. Dos Vidania puts her into a sleeper, but the rope's right there. Georgia Washington freed from the hold. A kick to the midsection. Georgia Washington tags her with the neckbreaker. Dos Vidania rolls her way onto the apron as the Yankee Rose enjoys a little more adulation from the fans. Georgia Washington moves in on Dos Vidania. They tussle. Dos Vidania shoves her back. Georgia whipped to the far corner. Georgia counters. Look at that beautiful wraparound DDT from the Yankee Rose. Followed up with a stomp. Great deal of momentum shift in this matchup between these two ladies. Georgia Washington, another neck breaker. The Yankee Rose currently in control of Dos Vidania. One, but just barely a one. Dos Vidania back up on her feet. Georgia Washington doesn't see her coming. Georgia Washington nails her. A spear from Dos Vidania. Look at this, Georgia Washington right back up on her feet as if nothing had happened. Here we go. Package driver from the Yankee Rose. Georgia Washington driving knees into the midsection of Dos Vidania. Dos Vidania rolls out for a minute. Georgia Washington follows her on out. And again, a little game of musical chairs. But Dos Vidania catching some hell here. Oh, head first into the ring post. A fireman's carry from Dos Vidania. Despite having had her head driven into the ring post by Georgia Washington. Georgia shoved towards the timekeeper's area. Dos Vidania looking for some fan support here. Good luck with that project. Georgia Washington rounded up. Dos Vidania counters. Dos Vidania delivers a chop. Now the ladies trading chops back and forth. A suplex from Georgia Washington on the outside as referee Willie Johnson continues to count. Dos Vidania tags Georgia with a right. Whips her towards the timekeeper himself. Look at this right here. A little too close to the action. Georgia Washington suplex by Dos Vidania. Dos Vidania gathers her back up. Hard whip towards the opposing corner. Dos Vidania makes her way back inside the ring. Georgia Washington still laid out on the outside. The count restarted again as Dos Vidania leaves the ring to pursue Georgia Washington. Georgia rolled back inside the ring. Dos Vidania right there waiting for her. Georgia counters with an elbow. Dos Vidania counters with an elbow. Facebuster from Dos Vidania. Dos Vidania gathers up Georgia again. Georgia countering with an arm drag. Georgia Washington tags her with a right, and down she goes. A little bit more styling and profiling from the Yankee Rose. A clothesline. A second. Georgia Washington rebounds off the ropes, and a third clothesline. Down goes Dos Vidania. And now Dos Vidania on the canvas, being gathered up yet again by the Yankee Rose. A quick counter from Dos Vidania. A slap across the face from Georgia Washington. Boom! There's another suplex for Dos Vidania. Georgia Washington drags her near center ring. Goes for the cover. 1, 2. Another near fall. With Dos Vidania back up on her feet, Georgia Washington unaware of her presence. Standing dropkick takes her down. Georgia Washington moves back in again, has Dos Vidania up over the shoulders. Dos Vidania counters it into an inverted DDT. What a battle between these two. Georgia Washington hauled up and slammed back down by her hair. Dos Vidania seems a bit frustrated when she should be pinning Georgia Washington. A colossal waste of time on the part of Dos Vidania. Georgia Washington back on her feet, a clothesline. Takes Dos Vidania right back out onto the floor again. Georgia Washington gathers her back up. And another suplex from Georgia Washington. Dos Vidania gathered up again on a spear from the Yankee Rose. Dos Vidania back up on her feet. Takes Georgia Washington down with a kick. The momentum shifts in this match have been absolutely insane. Dos Vidania rounds up Georgia Washington slowly. Georgia shoves her away towards the far corner on the outside as referee Willie Johnson continues to count. Georgia Washington standing right there just whoa, look at this. Sets her up another suplex from Georgia. And a little more showboating for the fans in the front row. Dos Vidania gathered up again. Dos Vidania counters an elbow to the leg. Dos Vidania rolled back inside the ring by Georgia Washington, who is starting to show signs of fatigue for sure. Georgia with whoa, there it is. There's the chop, and there's the Rockets' red glare. The double RG. And that might be the end right there for Dos Vidania. Georgia Washington covers. 1, 2. Oh my, well. Dos Vidania powering out of the pin after the Rockets' red glare. Oh man, Georgia Washington delivers another chop. And there it is one more time. The double RG. Georgia Washington covers. 1, 2, 3. It took 2 of them, but Georgia Washington wins this match by pinfall.
Here's the time, 10 minutes and 12 seconds, and your winner, the Yankee Rose, Miss Georgia Washington.
The Yankee Rose partaking in a taste of what popularity might be like, as the fans here in Pittsburgh roundly supporting the Yankee Rose Georgia Washington in this pinfall victory over Dos Vidania of the Red Star Confederation.
I hope she likes that feeling. I hope she craves more of it. She really could be a way bigger star with tons more fan support if she weren't such a, YouTube won't let me use that word, but you get the idea.
Trust me, I understand what you're saying.
Fans, we'll be back with more RWL Rage right after this break. Hope to see you there.